It did come to an end yesterday. Arizona State's magical football season in one of the classic games in program history. They fall in double overtime to Texas in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Here to talk about the season and what transpired in Atlanta. The athletic director of Arizona State University, Graham Rossini, joins us here on the Arizona Sports Line. Graham, good morning. Happy New Year. And we'll start with this. Congratulations on an unbelievable football season.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Happy New Year. We're back home, and lots to think about, but a lot of pride as we wake up this morning, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of reason for it. But, tell us about what was the mood on the flight home. I know there was a lot to be proud of, but that game was there for the taking and just a little bit out of reach. So what was the mood like on that flight home?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of heartbreak, obviously, and if you can have heartbreak coupled with pride, that was the sentiment that I picked up from the group. We had a group of players, and the finality of the season ending kind of sets in, and you realize that they're not going to get a chance to go to battle with their brothers in this version of the team ever again, and that's a it's a hard reality to grasp your mind around in a moment. But at the same time, you could tell, as the time away from the game elapsed and we got on the plane, that the sentiment of what they've accomplished and starting to take some stock on the pride that they can have on behalf of Sun Devil football, on behalf of ASU, on behalf of the Valley and this entire community. So a combination of emotions, and it's the beauty of sports. There's highs and lows, but the moments that we come together are typically the ones that you think about the most.
Graham, in other sports, in other moments of officiating malfeasance, a leader of a team can maybe contact a commissioner or file a complaint, that kind of stuff. What can you do with the disappointment over that non-targeting call on Melquan Stovall? I'm sure you're aware of how so many analysts across the country think this game was gifted to Texas. Your thoughts on that play, and how do you process it?
Yeah, I've already been in touch with the commissioner this morning. We've had an exchange. He's got some conversations underway that I'll gladly join him in, and I need to go back and watch it more closely myself. I've seen some highlights on social media, very aware of the sentiment out there. I would agree with what Coach said in the press conference last night. I think we just need to get an understanding on what this call is, have it be consistently applied throughout the sport, conference to conference, and make sure there's clarity on what is or what is not targeting, so the coaches can apply that in how we practice, make sure that message is communicated to the players in the game. And so, we can't undo it. The call is the call. I think we had other chances to go ahead and win that game, and tip our hat to Texas for advancing. But we'll have conversations, and we'll see what we can do with it. I don't know what will change quickly. I think the most important thing is that we get clarity as a sport on what is targeting and what is not.
Graham Rossini, the athletic director of Arizona State University, our guest here on the Arizona Sports Line. I know it came out in the days before the Peach Bowl about the contract extension, the well-deserved contract extension for Kenny Dillingham moving forward, helping him continue this activation of the Valley. And Kenny's response to it yesterday after the game, Graham, as you well know, was on brand for him. He wanted it to be held until after the game because he wanted to put the focus on his players. But just your thoughts on that whole process and really Kenny's reaction to all of it.
Yeah, really, really healthy process. And we talked throughout the fall on a number of priorities for the program, including his own extension, and wanted to start first and foremost with retaining our coordinators and getting our coaching staff solidified, because we've got incredible coaches and people involved in this football program, and many of them are going to have an opportunity to run their own programs and lead elsewhere. And if we get another season or two of this group that we have with us, that's important for the momentum behind Sun Devil football. And so we were able to accomplish that middle part of the season. Then it turned our attention to, preparing for the transfer portal and making sure that we were in a position to retain some key pieces on this roster, which, I was excited to see how we navigate the transfer portal. And obviously the success of the season allows us to be more selective on the pieces that we bring in. And then the final part of that effort was, making sure that we reward coach and set him up in a situation where we can unlock longevity, which has always been important to him. He's very clear on his desire to be at ASU for as long as possible. We share that sentiment and found some creative ways to get a model where he could be here for 10 years on this iteration of a contract. And so it's all part of the progression of how do we keep building this momentum behind Sun Devil football. And it starts with people, and it starts with the right people in leadership positions. We have that. We have a brand of football that we're proud to share with the nation and give them a show the way that we did yesterday. And we want to keep building that momentum. And so we've got alignment at all levels of ASU. I can't thank Dr. Crow and the leadership of ASU enough for understanding the opportunity and making sure that we were methodical and precise and very responsible with how we handle the process, and we feel like we have. And as Coach mentioned, it's not about him. It's about the collection of ASU coming together in support of these young people and what a football season or an athletic department can do to put an incredible spotlight on a university and a community in the way that we're starting to do that. And so just happy with where we're at, happy with what this season unlocked for our university, proud of these young men and how they represented us so well, and excited to keep building this to even further heights.
That's great stuff. All right, so yesterday, Cam Skattebo went from football player to legend. Talk about what he gave you guys yesterday and what he's given this program during his time here.
He just has an enormous heart, and he's an incredibly proud Sun Devil. And Vic, I agree. I mean, he's a legend. Yeah, he's a legend in the 2 years and everything that he's done, from playing multiple positions to making incredible relationships throughout the fan base and in the Valley. He's a Sun Devil for life, and he set a new tone for what ASU can be in a national conversation. And he's confident, but he backs it up. He's resilient. He responds. He has a grit factor. All those things are what we want Sun Devil football to look like moving forward. And, we look at this season as a new foundational moment for the direction of this football program and athletics department and university from an athletic standpoint. And it's all going to point back to the arrival of Coach Dillingham and Cam Skattebo. And so just forever proud to know him. Glad that we got to watch 2 years of what he accomplished in the maroon and gold. And he knows he'll be a Sun Devil for life, and he'll be welcome here with open arms forevermore.
Graham Rossini, the athletic director for the Arizona State Sun Devils, our guest here on Bickley Marotta Mornings. We were talking about this earlier, Graham, and look, this is the first year of an expanded 12-team playoff. I think there's been a lot of good. I think there's been some things that'll be under review. I'll just ask this question, and this isn't through completely the Tempe, Arizona State lens, if you will, because I think they're having these discussions in other cities as well. Is 25 days off a reward for getting the bye, or is it a curse?
It's too soon to know. I mean, we need the benefit of perspective. We don't have that yet. We're in the middle of this first iteration of an expanded playoff. There was a lot that went into the change from 4 to 12, and the decision wasn't really finalized until the latter part of the spring. And I think we all agreed that this was going to be a good thing for the sport. It creates parity. It creates an opportunity for more fan bases to feel like there's a pathway to a championship. That's real. That's happening. We're the direct benefactor of that reality, where there's a 12-team playoff, and we got the chance to earn our way into that conversation. And let's get through it. Let's get through the 20th. Let's understand how this plays out from start to finish. We'll have the benefit of perspective at that point. There'll be a number of conversations that take place this spring, sharing feedback, reviewing what went well, what may need some tweaks and adjustments moving forward. I do get the sense that everybody involved in that effort, from the CFP to the conferences and to others that are involved in that, are prepared to have that conversation. But let's get through a version of it and have the full value of perspective to really understand what adjustments, if any, need to be made moving forward. I know this, our guys were ready to play. Yeah. And so independent of a layoff, these guys were focused, they were present, they were proud to represent, even with the time off that we did have.
All right, lastly, Graham, one of the good things about yesterday was the moment was not too big for your quarterback, and Sam Levitt has come out and said, yes, I'm absolutely coming back next year. How much hope should we all take from that?
A lot of hope. I mean, he's been consistent in his desire to play at a championship level, and I think he's sensing that that's going to be possible here at ASU, and he knows he's supported with tremendous coaching staff, an incredible group of teammates. He's a selfless leader, and what he's been doing recently, giving back his merchandise royalties to teammates and making sure that it's not about him, it's about him able to lead a group of people that can have success together. And we're very convinced that Sam's going to be another one of these generational Sun Devils. And I think he's shown that over the progression of this season, debuted that very well on the national stage yesterday. He's everything you look for in a quarterback. He's confident, he's present, he's skilled, he's athletic, he's a great leader, he leads by example. Doesn't want it to be about him, and just proud that we'll have more of Sam Levitt in the future.
Graham, thanks so much for joining us today. Yeah. Appreciate it. Again, I'll end this the way I started it. Congratulations on a magical season that was one for the books for this program, and hopefully just the beginning.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and a shout-out to our fans. We got back to Tempe last night. I don't know, it was probably 11:30 p.m., maybe even a little bit later, and hundreds of Sun Devils there to greet the team upon arrival, and just means so much to our program to see the turnout from this fan base and this energy around the ASU community. And so thank you to all the fans out there listening.
That's awesome. Thank you, Graham. Graham Rossini, athletic director for ASU, our guest on the Arizona Sports Line. And not to mention all the fans. they represented pretty well inside that stadium,
They
too,
sure did.
yesterday, and they were
They
loud.
sure did.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.